Hi.
Yeah. Is this the first time you played Roskilde?
Yeah, first time I played a gig in Denmark.
Is it?
Mhm.
What time did you arrive?
UK time or European time? I don't know, about 3 o'clock.
Okay, so you've had a bit of time to kind of feel the atmosphere.
We haven't been around the site yet. I might go and do that after this. That'd be cool. Apparently it's massive, isn't it? It's like...
Yeah, it's really well laid out.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the gig that you did before your gig tonight?
I played in a tent in Glastonbury.
Was that your last gig?
Mhm.
Oh, that's interesting. How did they compare?
The roof of the other tent was a bit lower than this one, so it kind of had more of a atmosphere.
Yeah.
Whereas this one was kind of a bit larger, so and you could see more people coming in as well. It's like because the entrance is like all the way around. It seemed I could see more of the crowd as well because I was on a riser. What do you reckon?
Glastonbury was kind of a big deal for us on a lot of levels. So yeah, I mean, not to say that anything against Roskilde, but Glastonbury for us was kind of one of those moments that we had that we we were kind of quite terrified about it, and then when we played it, it was just one of the best shows we've done, and yeah, and it was just an awesome weekend, and we learnt so much musically from seeing the other bands and everything.
So why was it a big deal?
When I left school, I got a certificate saying most likely to be on stage at Glastonbury. Yeah. How is that? What did you get, Aaron?
Just most likely to fall into the gutter and never come out.
Yeah. Well, that's to come.
Yeah. But it was just kind of like a special moment for us, and that part of the world is kind of like an interesting place. We've got a sound guy that's really into his kind of crystals and spirituality. So
Earth energies.
So we, yeah.
Is that why though? Because of the spirituality and because of the personal element? Because I sense there's more to it than that.
No, it's not so much that. I don't know, it's just Glastonbury, it's like a legendary festival. Even our dad's been to it and he hasn't been to many festivals. It's something that like all of my favourite bands have played, almost. And obviously this year there's like a massive coverage of it as well. And like if you weren't there, then I don't know, I'd feel really bad if I wasn't there because you're just missing out on tons. Even when you're there, you're missing out on tons because it's like, oh, I've got to go and see 5 bands in the next 3 minutes. Yeah, and then there's like all the other performing arts and all sorts of stuff going on.
So how many days ago was that? I'm just trying to work out. Was that?
We played on Saturday.
So
20. Yeah.
Well, but what was the crowd actually? How are they actually behaving at Glastonbury? Because I was saying earlier that the crowd here, they loved you.
It was I don't know. It was a nice show, and it was kind of it was quite early in the morning as well, and the Rolling Stones were playing like that evening, so a lot of people were psyching themselves up for that and wanted to go and see some people play some guitars. So I think we did that, and yeah, for us it was a great show, and the crowd seemed to really get into it. And there's this really slow, doomy song that we play, and whenever we play it in the UK, it always seems to go down really badly. But whenever we play it abroad, it seems like everyone seems to really get into it. But it was the first time that we played it at a festival in the UK, and people had kind of got their heads around it and gone, right, I understand what's going on here.
That was quite telling, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those things matter. They show a kind of understanding of the music.
Yeah.
What types of things do you feel?
What, on stage or
No.
in general? I don't know. It's strange being a professional musician because you kind of, obviously when you're not a professional musician you think it's a lot cooler than it is, but at the end of the day, while you do meet a lot of people, it's like a lot of it's spent in hotels, in your room, or like backstage just waiting to go on, or like waiting for the band to take you wherever else you're going. You don't, while you go to a lot of places, you don't really see them and you can't really get a feel for them, which is a bit, which I regret a bit, but I don't know, I guess you can make the effort. It's just difficult because you're constantly tired until about half an hour before the show and then kind of tired again. But these are like all luxury problems because like we're living the dream, pretty much. We put a lot of emotion into our songs. They're quite, what's the word?
Our songs kind of come from a very intense personal place where it's kind of some imaginary world where you can get really psyched up and angry and aggressive at a lot of stuff that you're not allowed to. So if you can put that into a song and kind of just say exactly what you want to say, exactly how you want to say it, although you probably wouldn't sing it to anyone. And I don't know. I just feel like when we play, it's an outlet for a lot of things. I don't know. It's a good kind of like release of aggression and emotion, and we have that in abundance. So every gig is kind of like a joy to play because you come off and at least you feel something. Where it's kind of like a life on the road. Kind of I imagine kind of an alter ego that kind of travels along with us, but instead of going to gigs, he just goes to like business meetings and sells stuff, and he sleeps in hotels, and he just drives around in a car all day, and kind of imagine what it's like the other side of the fence. We get to do something that we love, but we only get to do something that we love for 45 minutes a day if we're lucky. So it's all about making that gig worthwhile.
Yeah. For you and whoever's watching you.
You tell what you think is each of
Mr. and
yours.
Mrs.
I don't know. I went to university for a year and a little bit, and got like intensely claustrophobic because there's fuck all to do in York, and I think that the sort of like the way that he deals with it is through anger and like the songs that he's written at that time, and it still comes out alive. I don't know, it's probably he's just an angry man.
A young angry man, yeah. I think my brother's the funniest person in the world. So every time we go on stage, there's kind of like these really mixed emotions where I'm kind of dead set on kind of committing myself to the song, making sure I actually can play the song and get it through to the other side of the set and say everything that I need to say. And then you kind of like look over and there's Rory, and like he's just pulling some silly face or something. He's trying to put you off. It's like recently there's been like a bit of we have like a water fight each night where we just, if one of us drinks a full bottle of water during a set, they can throw the cap and the bottle at the other person. And like Rory's usually like well into his first bottle of water by the fourth song, so like at some point halfway through the set, just something like hits you on the face and you just like you kind of like, what brings you back down to earth is who you're doing it with, and you can't, I don't know. It's kind of weird because it's family. It wouldn't matter so much if it was with your mates, but there's allowed to be this much stronger kind of emotion than there is in a band that's just with your mates and stuff like that.
Do you ever, when you're on stage, do you ever experience that thing which is quite common amongst siblings on stage, when they're like, it's a nice thing, it's like when you kind of like going up each other's ante.
Mm-hmm.
Only siblings can do that because it's based on trust.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Probably a little bit.
It happens when we least expect it and when we want it to happen. it just falls apart. You can't rely on that. Yeah. It's a thing that exists. I'm not going to kind of dispute that, but it's not.
It's not something that you should engineer your live show around, right?
Yeah. I think our early shows relied on it much more than we do now because we're talented players. But back then it would just be like we'd both just be thinking, what's going on here, and yeah. I don't know.
Where do your emotions overlap?
We grew up in a really rural village that was difficult to get out of, and there was nothing to do in it. That's kind of what a lot of the songs are about, pretty much. And then you went up to York and just amplified it.
We both understand each other's frustrations and each other's sense of humour, and they're kind of different ends of the scale. So, I mean, we don't know everything about each other, and we wouldn't want to. We just what's more important is making music together and making music that suits us both. And we make a lot of music and bring it to the other person, and they just go, it's not appropriate for what we're doing. It might be appropriate for you, and you can hold on to it because that's your song and your piece of work or art, but yeah.
What do you like best about each other?
Owen's yellow jacket is a personal highlight of mine. It's just easy to see him when he's far away. Big tall guy, large yellow shape. It's either that or like a flying lemon.
I don't know. I think Rory just knows where the line is with bullshit and stuff, and like I always try and bring myself back to kind of like where he's thinking from, and whether we should do something or not.
I don't know. I don't like knowing what I can do. I like the surprise. I think that's what's so great about being in a live band, is you just drive to the next place the next day and play a show to a load of people you've never met. I can't really answer that question. I'm not going to say something like skydiving or like I don't know, eating a nice meal. I like the kind of like surprise of what's happening next, pretty much. I'd probably go in a maze. A maze that would take me about a day to get through. That'd be my thing.
What type of maze would be, like a hedgy one or? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe like a one made of like bushes of fruit, so I could eat as I go along. Maybe grapes as well. So if it took me all, I don't know. It'd have to be really long to like ferment wine with myself. What about you?
I like playing shows. I guess we'd do a show, and then we'd probably go home and hang out with our dog for a bit. It's like perfect day.
What type of dog is it?
It's a mix of a border collie and greyhound. It's like a cocktail dog.
My gorgeous.
Well, sort of. If you're into that stuff.
She sounds lovely. Is it a girl?
Mm-hmm.